Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this series from Small Victories by Johanna Basford. We have leaves to colour today, and when we did a previous picture with just leaves, I did say, you know, sometimes if you look at a tree, all the leaves are different colours, and you could do them all randomly, so you have lots of different colours on this stem, and I thought I would have a go at that. Now it's not going to be totally random. What I thought I would do was take one base colour and apply it to all the leaves, then darken that up on one of them and leave it that colour, and then add colours to the others to make them slightly different tones of that same base colour. I thought that would hopefully provide an interesting effect. I'm going to actually start with the apple. It's a really lovely colour in my opinion. I don't really use it very much. Now you need to be careful because it's quite a light colour. We don't want to be putting down too much, particularly initially, because it's not going to leave any tooth in the paper to put another colour on top. What that means is that when you put your next colour on, it will just slide about on the paper and won't lay down because there's so much pencil in the paper, it's basically saturated. So that's our first one, and for ease I'm going to make this top one just this colour, so I'm really going to layer it down like that. So that's how it looks when it's got quite a few layers. Okay, and then we're going to colour all the other ones very slightly different, so hopefully it'll work. So that was apple. I'm going to work just really closely. So in my pencil case, I've got my colours in order where they're sort of near similar colours. So if I grab, like, this leaf green is just right next to it in the pencil case, so I know that it's a really similar colour. And here I'm going to fade it though, like that. So it's going to be darker at the bottom. And then I'm going to go back to that apple and put it over. Like that, and then you can see it's slightly different to this but not completely dissimilar. Hopefully we can continue that with the rest. Those get too light, so I'm going to have to move this way along in the pencil case. This one is the I think this is the, yes, this is the olive green. Sorry, it's very hard to read. And so putting a little bit in the base again like that, and then just gently reducing the layers towards the tip. And then, as before, back to our apple to go over the top. So you might find that the tips of most of them will be the same, but the actual main part might be a little different. Here is our grass blade. I'm trying to move around semi-randomly so that we get a sort of spread. Okay, and then back to the apple. We could do all the apple at the end, but I thought that I wanted to look and see what they look like finished, if they did look different to each other. And I think they do a little bit. So this one will make quite the difference to forest. This one's quite dark. So I'm going to be quite careful with how much I put down, because I don't want one leaf to be incredibly dark, but to have it a little bit darker will be good. There we go. So back to our apple. And go over it. We have 3 left as far as I can tell. So next I have a fang green. And I'm going to go to this, I'm going to go over here. This is quite dark, isn't it? So I don't want to put too much on. There we go. Now back to the old apple. I'm actually going to consult my swatch chart now and see whether we get a bit too dark. I think I'm going to go for a green grass next instead. I think we're getting too dark otherwise. This is green grass, you have to believe me. You can see the number. Anyway, so you can see how this one is fairly dark, but not as dark as we would have gone. Back to apple. What I thought what I'd do with this last one is actually make it lighter. So this is the apple that I'm using in the bottom. I'm going to do something really bright on the tip. Probably the lime fruit. Yeah. Lime fruit. If you've got all these pencils, I'm hoping you're finding you might be using ones that you haven't used before, or ones that you don't use very often. It's certainly happening for me that way, that I am, you know, because I'm trying to pick colours that maybe we haven't used yet. It's not, obviously I haven't used many greys or browns and things like that, or the sort of really pale colours, but I'm trying to mix it about a bit, so we use different ones. So that is what it looks like when you sort of randomise it slightly. So we've got the same base colour in each, but we've got different colours added in just to give it a different look. So you may like that, you may not like that, but I think it was an interesting little experiment. I think if I was to do that on a big picture, I would probably only have maybe three different tones. So maybe the original one in full and then maybe just two others with it. Or else I think it might get a little bit too messy, but also such hard work, it would take so long, especially if the leaves were this small. But I was pleased with the look of it. So anyway, we are done for today. So thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy colouring.